Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Riffing on Frederick William Kost. It's a 5x7, and I completed this yesterday. I'm super happy with it, super stoked, and I think you will get a lot from watching me put it together. It's tonal. No, it's not a straight up study of Frederick's painting. Basically, what a riff is sort of when I do my own version of someone else's painting, quite a bit like a cover song, you know. In this case, I changed the sky completely. His sky was just yellow. Oh, by the way, before I forget, so if you are a member, you can, in the members area, you can see when the live version of this video comes up that there's not just the original image by Frederick, but my modified image comes up at the beginning of that video. And what that video is the live session where the painting you're seeing it sped up here. And those can be quite helpful. A lot of people like the members area. I think it's very instructive. A lot of times, of course, we're just painting, we're not talking, but there's some great teaching there, so check it out if you're interested in that. And if you're not interested in that, let's just watch this and talk, okay? So, a little bit of history here. I did a study after Frederick Kost's painting back 10 years ago in the 100 Days of Tonalism. I'll try and remember to put a link to that underneath the video. And in that video, you'll hear me remarking about how much I love the composition, and I really do. There's a lot of, I love this sort of composition, and this isn't much different than my sort of seascape composition approach, except for because there's not an ocean back there, he can stick a little mass of trees in the distance. Now, you see that bit I'm painting there. One place I would criticize Frederick's painting was that he kind of kept that whole mass dark as things were receding in the past, and I used to do that too. It took me many years to start realizing that you need to take advantage of opportunities to move objects further back, and the best way to do that is with the shift in value. You want things slightly lighter, so I made a real effort to have the darker mass of trees represent trees closer to us and really push that other element back, even if it wasn't that distinct. Now, this painting went very quickly. One of the reasons for that is I've got a kind of pre-digested meal here with Frederick already did a lot of the heavy lifting, and that's the great thing about doing a riff or a cover song for that part. Someone else wrote the basic tune, but as you know, if you've ever heard, say, Jimi Hendrix's take on "All Along the Watchtower," you know it doesn't sound much like Bob's, but Bob's was brilliant. Jimmy's is brilliant. And I think this painting stands up to Kost's original. It's very different. One of the things I did is, like, he had a lot of tonalists, sometimes they would just do this, we're going to make the sky yellow thing. And it does work very well. It creates a sort of peaceful stillness kind of effect. I definitely wanted more of a payoff in the sky. Quite a bit of the painting area is dedicated to the sky. So that's one thing I changed, and you can see that again. That image my modified image comes up in the members area, and I think that's very educational, especially when you see Kost's original painting. You see my revised bit that I did in Photoshop to set my painting up, and then you see me do the actual painting. So I probably will be doing quite a few of these because I'm in the process of going back into the older sections of the channel and updating the description areas. Very annoyingly, there's an area that YouTube in their infinite wisdom has added saying person mentioned in this video. And it's some dude named Francis X or whatever. I've never heard of this guy. I'm M. Francis, YouTube. And I ought to be treated with some respect on my own channel, but hey, not complaining, you know. We shouldn't complain because we don't have to pay. much. You may have to watch a few ads if you're not able to set up some other alternative dealio for the YouTube, but it's really quite a blessing that we have access to all this information. So not so much complaining, but that's quite annoying. And what's really annoying is that I can't turn it off. Hey, we're going to have speaking of ads, I got an ad for my own book here coming up. And we've been shipping out lots of books. It's been really great. And I'm very happy to send this book to you anywhere in the world for $60 US. Now that's a little bit more than I'd like to charge, but what that does do is cover the international shipping, and I think that's important. You know, if you're looking at it and you want to buy it, and then you see, oh my gosh, I thought it was going to be this much, and now wow, when you add the shipping on, it's not going to happen at all. And a lot of the reason for that is because although I am an American, I live in New Zealand. I'm actually a Kiwi too. I have a citizenship out here, so but I'll always be, I'll always be American in my mindset for sure. I was quite pleased with the way this painting came together. I think the sky, I am not, one thing I'm real happy about that I did in the sky is I'm just laying it down and leaving it alone. And if you can do that, if you can manage it, your paintings will get better. It may take a while, but honestly, what you're substituting for the attempted perfection is expression. And expression is really the point. We want to see that emotive quality. We want to see what a human being was coming up with when they were trying to make an image of that scene. And that needs to be respected. I think it should be. Well, respect is the theme of this video this morning, I guess. Anyway, we're getting through the 100 days and updating all the description areas, and it was the genesis of this channel, and in so many ways, I had been painting nearly full time for 5 years before I ever did a single study after any painter, much less a tonalist painter. I had lots of books. I had a lot of images I'd printed out and had taped up around my home office and my studio. Um, and I had done a really deep investigation in tonalism, but the smart move would have been to start making studies of my favorite paintings a lot earlier than I did. Because after 2015, my work definitely jumped up in quality, and it's because of the influence of the 100 days. And of course, after that, I followed up with the Past Master series and things like that. It's just an extension of the same idea. So now everything I was doing in those video series were studies. They were not slavish copies of the master's paintings, but definitely doing my best to make a good copy of their paintings in a expeditious manner. This is different. This is a riff, and a riff is me just playing the chords, singing the loose copy of the melody, changing things where I feel like it, and man, I really enjoyed painting this, and I think it looks really nice. I think you'll agree. I'll be surprised if this doesn't get quite a few views. And it's got the tonalist chord being struck. And it's interesting when you look at the progression of the channel. Of course, the genesis of when I started putting a bunch of videos up was the 100 Days of Tonalism. And that really pushed me deeper and deeper into tonalism. But there are things like the seascapes that I do on the channel. A lot of times, especially if there's a lot of blue sky and blue water, that's not exactly tonalism. Although I do have a value scale that I use that definitely distinguishes my work from that of just about any painter, at least out here. And it is those tonal values, that tonal mindset. It's still going. However, there's a lot of other attributes to creating a tonal work, all of which I were listed in my blog. And there's a lot of great stuff in that blog. I'd forgotten how much I wrote and how hard I'd worked. In a sense, it's almost like I'd wrote the book before I wrote the book that I'm now selling on the channel. And we're working on another book too. It's going to take a while, but I think people that are digging what I do and digging painting are going to be pretty stoked, yeah, with what I'm working on. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say right now. But you'll keep hearing me say it. And have you been following the channel? If you've been following the channel for a while, you know I was talking plenty about doing a book before I did my last book, and I did it. You know, it was a lot of work. Yeah, this next project will be, in some sense, even more work. But so much of what we do is, at least what I do. Let's just talk for myself here. See how I'm pushing that tree back. You know, I made a real point. And when I'm doing my putting in my darks like I just did, I make a real point. Even though in the reference image up on the screen it can look very dark, I try and knock that value back by at least 20% or so to get that distance in there, get that air in there. I did a really good job on that for this painting. And, you know, honestly, I felt a little bit lost too as I was doing some of this. And that's probably a feeling that you're familiar with too. Don't worry about that. Just move. Just keep painting, okay? And like, follow my example here. Lay down a color, leave it alone. Lay down another color, leave it alone. One of the things, like I introduced a lot more greens and I pushed the reds further. He had more of a middle sort of thing going through the hues. Now that could have been the result of varnish, and I've talked about varnish uh, on the channel. I know sometimes I don't always complete every thought that I'm expressing, but when I'm talking about the influence of varnish on the work of the tonalists, in many cases these paintings haven't been cleaned properly. When you put varnish on a painting, it turns yellow over time. And this is a lot of what brings a dirty feeling to the older paintings that we see, unless it's cleaned. And it, kind of a good idea to have it cleaned professionally, or I suppose these days you could probably learn a bit on YouTube. You could always play around with the corner of a painting that you might have, but you'd be amazed how fresh the color could be. And one thing I did in the 100 Days of Tonalism was removed a lot of that yellow feeling from the paintings, because in my mind they wouldn't have painted everything all tobacco stained, you know. Now if I really wanted to make this feel super old, I could run a bit of a glaze over the top and get that that old dry varnish feeling. I personally don't care to varnish my work. What I do instead, and it says on the label that it is not, is I use liquid, and I basically use it as a protective layer. The thing is, it's not going to be removable as varnish is. That's kind of the plus about varnish. You've got this icky yellowing layer of color over your art, and it gets more and more yellow and dingy with time. But on the plus side, that can be cleaned off pretty easily, and then your fresh painting will be below. With the approach that I'm taking, I'm basically assuming that we're not going to be living in the age of gas lamps and candles anymore. Because in the era of electric lights and electricity, it's not nearly as big a deal. Anyway, we're getting kind of close to the edge. Getting close to the end. This is almost like a rambling middle of the week video, but oh, speaking of, just here at the very end, I did release like all of the live videos from 2019 are on a playlist. So if you got a hankering for the live thing, but don't want to deal with the members area, you can go there and watch that playlist, and you're going to get plenty of it. The thing is, though, I'm a lot better now than I was in 2019, so, you know, there's that. But I was good in 2019. You can get quite a lot from those. And the one that's been banging around the channel for some reason, YouTube treated as a whole new video. It's been getting lots and lots of views. That's me showing a student how to paint skies in the studio, and I hope you guys are enjoying it, and just remember, there's a lot more and a lot better in the members area, so check that out. Until I come back with another video for your hopefully for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid, take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family. And turn off this video, go do a painting, and after that, fight the power.